Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Top Wars. Beginning with 3,000 natural ability players, Tong travels through the world of pirates and successfully activates the system. Leading 3,000 natural fruits at the beginning, creating the Xiao organization. As long as the reward is sufficient, it is not a problem to assassinate the Grand Marshal, the Fourth Emperor, and even the Tianlong people. Slay the Red Dog and reward the Magma Fruit, Awakening. Take the Blackbeard Pirate's whole pot and reward the Dark Fruit, Awakening. Capture the Tianlong people alive and reward them with weapons, knowledge, and domineering aura, top. Level. From then on, a new assassination organization emerged in the world of pirates, which made countless pirates, navy, and even Tianlong people tremble with fear. Xiao. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1 Top Wars and Changes. Seeking Flower Reviews. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Prepare for execution. On the 100-meter-high execution platform, the Warring States period shouted fiercely. The long knives in the hands of the two executioners stood up, raised high in the air, ready to execute the order. Captain Whitebeard, Portka's Ace, and the Son of Demons, will be beheaded today. Under the square, damn it. Hurry up. It's too late. Ace. The members of the white-bearded pirates were desperately breaking through, but unfortunately, this was the naval headquarters where all the naval forces were gathered, making it too difficult to break through. Luffy was also surrounded by a group of navies, shouting Ace's name in anger. The strongest man with a white beard is implicated by the three generals. Your era with a white beard has come to an end, said Red Dog in a low voice. With a gloomy expression on his white-bearded face, he looked towards the execution platform and at his son. Ace. Is it too late just now? He was injured by his own pirate group Skuyard, and with his age increasing and his physical condition gradually deteriorating, it was too difficult for him to fight against the three generals, and he couldn't even get close to the execution platform. If it were during its peak period, perhaps it wouldn't have been so passive just then. A roar of anger came. In the sky, a giant bird with blue flames spread its wings and flew towards the execution platform. No, undead bird, Marco. Everyone below exclaimed in surprise. Marco used his undead bird fruit ability and flew towards the execution platform, shouting loudly, Ace, I'm here. Hurry up, shoot him down. Shoot, don't let him approach the execution platform. The guns in the hands of the navy below kept firing fire snakes. Bullets hit Marco like dense raindrops. However, the undead bird fruit was not afraid of bullets at all and passed through directly, while Marco continued to head towards the execution platform. There's hope. A suppressed low moan came, and Kapuyu, who had been sitting on the execution platform, stood up. Bold. Kapu let out a roar, his fist like a mountain, and made a loud roar in the air, directly shooting down the undead bird approaching the execution platform. The undead bird flew backwards and with a loud roar, smashed a building to pieces. Kapu's sturdy body landed on the general's podium and sat straight in the middle of the general's seat. The crowd below heard screams of surprise. Hero. Munch D. Cap. At this moment, the members of the White-Beard Pirates felt a bit desperate. Even Captain Marco was knocked down. Looking at everything in front of us during the Warring States period, it's time to end. Execution. A command echoed through the war, and the machetes held high by the two executioners fell directly. Ace. The White-Beard Pirates went crazy and rushed, and the telephone worm will spread this image all over the world. Shampoo Island. Raleigh stood on a huge tree trunk, looking at the distant screen, and the execution had already been carried out. He took a sip of wine and a hint of desolation appeared in his eyes. Roger, your son is afraid he will die young today. And below, the audience stared intently at this scene. This is the biggest battle between the Navy and pirates in recent years. This war is afraid that the pattern of the new world will change. As the strongest man who treats crew members as his family, Whitebeard is afraid that after Ace's execution, he will continue to fight against the Navy. In a certain sea area, the red-haired pirate group looked at the screen and remained silent. They are on their way to the top of the war, preparing to end this battle. In a corner of the Navy headquarters, Blackbeard's face showed madness, revealing his missing teeth. He, it's even more chaotic, get rid of that guy with the white beard, and then my plan will be successful. Everyone believes that Ace will die, and the Whitebeard pirates have no chance of winning. And somewhere underwater, inside a huge submarine, Tong sat in the driver's seat, legs crossed, with a relaxed expression. The screen in front of me, he ran, is also topped with war scenes. A few days ago, he traveled to the world of the Pirate King. And it is bound to a divine-level assassination system. The system requires him to establish an assassination organization, and the commission earned through someone else's employment can be converted into the system's wealth value. In terms of conversion, it is 1.1. And a prize draw can be made for 1,000 million Bailey. As for what can be drawn, Tong is currently unclear. However, if the system produces, it must be a masterpiece. Tong believes that it will definitely not be bad. You should know that the newbie gift package he received was just a huge blow. He was directly given 3,000 assassination subordinates, all of whom were natural fruit abilities, including 1 general level strength, 9 quasi-general level strength, 990 lieutenant general and above strength, and the rest were lieutenant general level strength. This kind of strength can definitely be considered top-level strength, probably even stronger than the strength of the Straw Hat Pirates when they became the 5th Emperor in the future. However, Tong currently lacks his own strength, and the rewards he can only obtain through a lottery gradually become stronger. However, Tong has only been in this world for a few days, and no one knows about his existence, let alone someone hiring him to kill. So, the first thing Tong needs to do is to make his killer organization famous. Coincidentally, a few days ago, Tong saw the newspaper that today Ace will be publicly executed. Tong immediately remembered that this was the top war. I suddenly had an idea. You should know that Ace is a second team member of the Whitebeard Pirates or the son of the Pirate King. This kind of gimmick may attract attention from people all over the world. In addition, the Navy attaches great importance to gathering all forces and preparing to annihilate the Whitebeard pirates in one fell swoop. In order to suppress the strong pirates, a global live broadcast was also conducted, so that the news would only be known faster. Tong wants his assassin organization to become famous, so he naturally won't miss this big battle. As long as his assassin comes forward to save Ace and end this war. In this way, one's own killer organization will shake the entire audience and become the focus of attention worldwide, allowing oneself to use it as a platform for promotion. Not only does it end this top-level battle, but it also demonstrates the strength of our killer organization, making everyone aware that our killer organization can rival any top-tier combat force. In this way, others will be relieved to hire themselves for murder missions. For this reason, Tong also gave a very cool and charming name, Xiao. I saw Tong slowly pick up the foam worm in his hand and say, "Have you controlled Lao Sha?" "I have control." Tong grinned, knowing that this time Lao Sha would take action to kill 2 executioners and delay the execution time. How can someone pretend like this? I must be here. Great. Code 0, take action. Save Ace. Yes. Chapter 2. The General has died. Seeking flower evaluation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Naval Headquarters. Clockter originally planned to kill 2 executioners by hand, but found himself confined by a group of people who suddenly appeared. Who are you? Clockdale frowned slightly. A few people across from each other remained silent. Clockdale cut and bit into a big cigarette, shouting, "I'm not easy to bully." Immediately, with a wave of his hand, a huge ball of sand turned into a sharp knife and swung towards several people. Nanny. Clockdale's pupils flickered for a moment. All of these people in front of me didn't dodge and were cut in half by knives transformed from sand. But Clockdale was well aware that these people had not died. Like myself, they are all natural fruits. For a moment, a drop of cold sweat flowed down the forehead. What are these people? Why are they all natural fruits? You should know that natural systems are very rare. At the same time, on the execution platform, as two machetes were about to fall, a dazzling bright light suddenly flashed out on the platform. Nanny. What happened when the pupils under the glasses of the Warring States period moved? As the white flash dissipates, everyone noticed that the two executioners had fallen, while a person stood beside Ace. That person is wearing a black robe with patterns on it, like a few red clouds, and a black smiling face mask on his face. At this moment, the people on the battlefield couldn't help but stop fighting and look up at the execution platform. Who is that person? The corners of his white beard's mouth were bloodshot, but his gaze remained sharp and sharp. He looked at the execution platform in silence. He is very clear that this person is not with him. The three generals also looked towards the execution platform. The green pheasant's face showed no expression. The yellow ape, on the other hand, had a crooked grin on its face and said, "Oh. Look, who is it?" Red Dog, on the other hand, had a gloomy expression and glared angrily at the person standing on the execution platform. Great. Luffy laughed happily and said, "Ace didn't die." All the big shots present were at a loss for a moment, and this unexpected incident caught everyone off guard. In a submarine in a certain sea area, Tong looked at the screen and licked his lips. A smile couldn't help but appear at the corner of the mouth. This group of people must be looking confused. This is called Xiao organization collaborating with pirates, ha. After a moment of surprise during the Warring States period, an angry expression appeared on his face. Since you took action to save Ace, it means you and the Navy are enemies. As the words fell, the Warring States period was covered in golden light, and his body gradually grew larger. The crane hat on his head floated down the execution platform. Marshal has taken action. Big Buddha. There is no doubt that the man in black will die. The fixing screws on the execution platform kept bouncing out due to the pressure they couldn't bear. A golden Buddha stands tall on the execution platform. He ran. I am guilty of obstructing the Navy's execution of criminals. A thunderous shout echoed through the entire battlefield. At the next moment, the transformed Warring States period palm slapped towards the mysterious person. Everyone in the room was watching this scene. The mysterious man slowly lifted his arm and a white laser shot towards the Warring States period. The palm of the Buddha collides with the laser. Since there was no clear outcome for a moment, they were deadlocked with each other. During the Warring States period, I gritted my teeth and felt a bit incredulous in the pupils behind my glasses. This guy actually took my palm. How could this be possible? Not only was it the surprise of the Warring States period, but the entire scene was inexplicably shocked by both the Navy and the pirates. Who is this person? Surprisingly able to confront the marshal. Well, I'm afraid this person has the level of a general. You've never seen his clothes before. Why didn't such a strong person show off before? Pirates. Or the Revolutionary Army? Everyone was unclear and began to speculate in their hearts. The execution platform trembled with unbearable force, and the anger in the eyes of the Warring States period rose once again. I must defeat this person, otherwise it will inevitably affect the morale of the soldiers. This battle has been planned for a long time, and the Whitebeard pirates must be annihilated. If the morale of the soldiers drops, it's over. Thinking of this, the Warring States period shouted loudly, and the other golden palm clapped down again. Boom! A huge burst of energy came through. The execution platform was finally overwhelmed and began to collapse. A huge amount of dust permeated the entire area of the execution platform. Did you defeat it? I must have defeated him. After all, Marshall is also a seasoned general who has experienced countless battles, but his strength is above that of a general. If that person can't resist the Marshal's blow, he's afraid he'll be killed by this blow, just like leaving Ace by his side. Our navy is not far from victory. Small figures are discussing and forgetting to fight, which is actually normal. After all, the execution platform is the key to this battlefield. The big shots remain silent, silently watching the outcome. Everyone is very clear about what general-level strength means. Luffy ran over quickly and said, "Ace, Ace." He was very worried about his brother's situation, and in such a collapse, Ace, who was handcuffing the sea tower stones, was afraid of getting injured. The smoke quickly dissipated, and everyone's gaze converged here. Immediately, everyone's hearts were shaken. In front of the Buddha in the Warring States period, the mysterious man he ran stood tall and upright. There are no visible signs of injury on his body. Not only that, in the moment of collapse, the mysterious person also protected Ace. On the square, the red dog that had previously restrained the white beard couldn't sit still. Whoever is a pirate must die today. The red dog turned into magma and quickly charged towards the mysterious person. Even if there is a general level strength, what about that? As long as you join in the restraint of the Marshal, you can still take it away. Just in the blink of an eye, the red dog arrived around the mysterious person. His fist turned into rolling magma, and he swung it away. Go to hell. During the Warring States period of the Buddha era, he was simultaneously struck with a big palm. Damn it. Marco crawled out of the ruins and was shocked to see two generals taking action against the person who saved Ace. Two top naval executives simultaneously took full action against one person. I'm afraid even the powerful fourth emperor like Kaido doesn't feel well. But now my companions are all restrained, only I can help. Marco transformed into an immortal bird again and quickly went to help. I feel like it's too late. But the next moment, another unexpected scene appeared. I saw several lasers flying from above the three of them. What is that? Before everyone could react, Jodao laser flew towards Red Dog. Damn it. As a veteran with absolute strength, Kapu has a strong sense of crisis. He suddenly stood up, trying to intercept a few lasers, but unfortunately it was too late. The 9 laser beams were extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, they came to the eyes of Red Dog. The Red Dog's pupils contracted, and the magma fist changed direction and blasted towards the laser. Unfortunately, these were 9 paths. He only stopped 2 paths, and the remaining 7 paths directly penetrated his body. For a moment, a sharp pain struck. Dominant. Before he could finish speaking, Red Dog had already vomited blood and fainted. Everyone present was in a state of uproar and astonishment. Has the general been killed? Mysterious people are not just 1, but 10. And everyone's strength is so strong. What organization are these guys? Chapter 3. Good news. Looking for flower evaluation tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Red Dog collapsed, and all 7 lasers that penetrated him were attached with a domineering aura. Even if he was a natural fruit, it was of no use. In the next moment, the 9 laser beams flashed a dazzling white light, like a sun. Everyone's eyes couldn't open when stabbed. It's too dazzling, tears are almost flowing down. My eyes can't see. The cries of the crowd echoed one after another, and some with lower strength were severely injured in the eyes under strong light. In a submarine in a certain sea area. Tong wore sunglasses and chuckled. This is a natural type of laser fruit. When the laser shines on the eyes, even if you're not blind, you'll have to recover for a while. The beginner gift package gave to his 3,000 subordinates, all of whom were natural laser fruit abilities. However, the degree of development of fruit abilities varies greatly, and at the same time, physical fitness also varies. So only Code Zero has the level of a general, and all other abilities are below the level of a general. At present, it is already enough to deter the whole scene. After all, the war just now has also consumed a lot of these people's strength. That's also why Yi Tong chose to take action at this time. And to be honest, besides Red Dog, all the actors at the top of the war were actors, otherwise Luffy wouldn't have been rescued. Yi Tong couldn't help but burst out laughing at the thought. That's also why he was the first to have the Red Dog undergo surgery. Pour down the most jumping one first, and the next thing will be much easier to handle. On the screen, the bright light that seemed like a scorching sun slowly disappeared. Everyone looks around. I saw 10 mysterious people dressed in uniform standing tall. Each one is like an unshakable giant mountain. In front of them, the Red Dog had already fallen into a pool of blood. The whole scene fell silent. The pupils of the Buddha in the Warring States period kept flickering, and even this wise general had not arrived. Did the Red Dog die like this? At this moment, Kapu also stood by the side of the Warring States period, looking solemnly at the 10 members of Xiao. At the same time, top naval forces such as the Yellow Ape and Green Pheasant have also gathered together. Whitebeard, I didn't expect you to have this skill. Kapu gritted his teeth. Marco was just preparing to go to rescue Code Zero, but stopped when he saw that there was nothing else going on. Dad didn't expect you to find such a helper, he said with a happy expression on his face. Captain Sanfan also looked excited and said, Ace has been saved. Dad, quickly ask them to help take down the Sea Tower stone on Ace's body. In a hidden place, Blackbeard was already furious. That old immortal, why is he still hiding this hand? He gritted his teeth and his mind was spinning rapidly. He had to take action to get things done, otherwise the plan to hand Ace over to the Navy might not be feasible. Although Admiral Red Dog has fallen, his strength is already there. There is also the 7 martial Cs under the throne. Everyone's gaze was strangely fixed on Whitebeard, not understanding why he was hiding such combat power. Whitebeard held Guangong's big knife in his hand, stood tall, and laughed, oh lalalolo, these people are not mine. I have never been a troublemaker. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present was once again in an uproar, even the white-bearded pirate group were surprised. This is not our person, so why did we save Ace? Anyway, killing our Navy general is a heinous crime, it must be the enemy. During the Warring States period, Lee shouted, all major navies obey orders. Just then, a voice interrupted the words of the Warring States period. In the Warring States period of Buddhism, the Red Dog did not die, said the emotionless voice with Code Zero. Everyone was once again surprised. We just avoided the main point and won't be able to die for a while, but if we continue to bleed like this, it's hard to say. Kapu's pale eyebrows furrowed slightly and he said in a deep voice, who the hell are you? Since it's not a person with a white beard, why help him? What exactly is your purpose? Code Zero remained silent and slowly reached into his pocket. Attention! With a loud shout during the Warring States period, the big palm was already accumulating strength. What are you doing? Don't move around lightly. Kapu's fist had already exuded a domineering aura, and both the pheasant and the yellow ape were ready for battle. At the same time, all navies are now ignoring the Whitebeard pirates, with countless empty guns pointing at the 10 members of Xiao. At the same time, the Whitebeard pirates also gathered together one after another, and after Whitebeard revealed that he was not his own, they were all facing a formidable enemy. The 10 top combat-capable individuals who appeared for no reason do not know their purpose. They also realized that the lasers released by these people just now were indiscriminate attacks, whether they were naval or pirate, and those with lower strength suffered heavy damage to their eyes. That is to say, these mysterious people are not from either side. Everyone is on the alert, not knowing what Code Zero is going to come up with. In the countless binocular lights, Code Zero slowly pulled out a phone worm. I only heard Code Zero Yu say, "Our master will answer your question." As soon as these words were spoken, the eyes of the big shots changed dramatically. They don't care about answering questions, but there is a master behind this person with top-notch abilities. Can a person with a general level and a few joint forces be able to defeat the 9 people of Red Dog? Although it is a surprise attack must also have strength. Can you call a few soldiers to sneak attack Red Dog and see? Killed directly with one punch. And behind these people, there is also a master. How terrifying will this person be? Code Zero completely disregards the thoughts of these people and is not afraid of their sudden surprise attacks. Apart from the 10 of them, there are still 2,990 people hiding in the dark, just in case something unexpected happens. I saw Code Zero slowly lifting the phone worm. In the phone worm, a voice spoke, "Hello everyone, I am the leader of the Xiao organization. You can call me Wu. The voice was not high, there was no display of evil or goodness, but among the crowd, there was a solemn expression. Xiao. This organization was unheard of by everyone present, but suddenly it emerged as incredibly powerful. Tong continued, "I'm really sorry to interrupt your war. Although I am sorry, there is no hint of embarrassment." Tong ignored these things and continued. "I came here today to tell everyone some good news." Hee. Chapter 4. Xiao, seeking flower evaluation tickets. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Everyone had a surprised expression on their faces. Good news. What's the good news? Tong didn't show off and continued, "We, Xiao, are an assassin organization. As long as you have money, you can hire our assassins to help you eliminate your arch-rivals." What's going on? Is this news good news? Everyone was speechless. Is this considered good news? Damn it. What if someone hires the Xiao organization to kill me? It can only be said that this is good news for wealthy people, and useless news for those without money. Whether there is or not is the same, and one also has to worry about being hired by assassins to kill oneself. You just saw our strength. Speaking of which, I would like to thank General Red Dog for his cooperation. Because of him, we are able to demonstrate the strength of our Xiao organization and dispel your doubts about its strength. Everyone looked at each other in confusion. Listen, is this human language? Are you still cooperating with Red Dog? It's clear that you took the initiative, okay? Red-haired pirate group. Usopp's father burst out laughing with a pop sound and said, "Boss, I'm afraid if Red Dog hadn't been seriously injured and unconscious now, he would be infuriated by these words." Ha. The crew burst into laughter. However, soon their faces became solemn. Shank said, "I used to think that this war would bring about a huge change in the new world landscape, but now it seems that this is not just a change in power. I'm afraid that everyone will defend themselves then. An organization like this in the dark is like a knife hanging around everyone's neck." But the next moment, Tong's words shocked everyone. No, it should be a sensation all over the world. The target of employment can be anyone, it can be the Navy, it can be pirates, it can be the Revolutionary Army. Including the Tianlong people. As soon as these 3 words were spoken, the whole scene exploded instantly. Tianlong people. Did I hear you wrong? This is a world aristocrat. And even the Revolutionary Army, Navy, and pirates are included. Is the leader of this Xiao organization crazy? Are you not afraid to become the target of public criticism? During the Warring States period, he looked unattractive and shouted loudly, "You're being reckless." After speaking, we will go ahead and destroy the phone worm in Code Zero's hand. If the Tianlong people knew about this, there would be a lot of trouble. Yi Tong said calmly, during the Warring States period, you wouldn't be afraid to take action and lose a general. It was only during the Warring States period that Red Dog remembered lying not far away from the house. If he rashly provoked the opponent, Red Dog would be in danger of his life. Damn it. The Warring States period helplessly stopped in its tracks. Shampoo Island. The people on the island only feel that this day is about to change, and an inexplicable sense of oppression is enveloping the world. This sudden appearance of the organization is really too rampant, even the Tianlong people can be killed. In the distance, Raleigh laughed heartily as he watched the scene and said, interesting, interesting. After speaking, I took another sip of wine. The red-haired side was also slightly surprised, and then couldn't help but laugh. Hee hee. I thought this organization would cause trouble for the pirates, but now, isn't that saying that everyone is the same? Interesting. Go. Go back to the New World. The fat man bit his thigh and chewed in surprise, saying, old, woo-woo, big, woo-woo. Can't we finish eating before speaking? The red-haired person couldn't breathe well. However, he naturally knew what his crew wanted to say, and he smiled, saying, this war is already over. If such a thing happens, who on both sides has the heart to fight? Naval Headquarters. The voice of Yi Tong continues to ring from the phone worm. Of course. If you don't accept small money, at least 100,000 Bailey or more. After careful consideration, Yi Tong finally determined that the price below 100,000 Bailey would be meaningless, as it would waste manpower. And for the 100,000 to 1,000 W Bailey, it can be executed by those who have the strength of the general, and it can also enhance their strength along the way. Money is a thing that accumulates little by little. Next, here is our contact information, 5 ****. If you need any employment, please call this phone worm. Of course. You must pay a 50% commission before hiring, and we will send someone to hand it over. Hee hee, it's best not to have any ulterior motives. If anyone dares not to pay the final payment or wants to set up a trap for the personnel sent to the Handover organization. So, it will be blacklisted by our Xiao organization and will not be hired by anyone else. The Xiao organization will carry out hunting on it. Alright. That's all I have to say. Please remember, our organization's name is Xiao. I hope everyone will actively hire us. We just rely on this to make a living. Hee hee. Yi Tong spoke casually and continued, I'm really sorry to disturb everyone's time, hee hee. Next, you continue. Our Xiao organization will no longer intervene in this war. Hee hee. Lieutenant General Kapu. Yi Tong suddenly said. Kapu's eyes were sharp, staring at the phone worm. He didn't understand what the leader of the organization called him. Red Dog. Not right. Red Dog will be handed over to you. You can take him back to heal his wounds. If he bleeds to death, it doesn't concern us, Xiao. It's because your Navy's rescue was not timely. Don't throw the blame on us, Xiao. I don't want to be looked down upon by the Navy just because I carry the blame. Upon hearing this, Cap's face turned black and he angrily cursed, your organization is a murder organization, which is already a violation. And the 3 words you just said, don't you have any pressure in your heart? We have long been enemies. Yi Tong's voice was a bit aggrieved. Isn't this begging for food? Everyone felt inexplicable. Why are you still being wronged? Nima. Do you have such a powerful subordinate, or are you just begging for food? It's really shameless. Kapu didn't say much anymore and walked slowly over. During the Warring States period, he stopped him and said, it wouldn't be good if they suddenly took action against you. Hee hee, only those who have money will take action, and those who don't have money will take action. Our Xiao organization, withdraw now and no longer intervene. Xiao, members of the organization listen to orders, mission completed. Retreat. Code 0 slowly put the phone worm back into your pocket. At the next moment, everyone transformed into a city and the laser flew out and left the battlefield. At this moment, the whole world recognized the existence of this organization, Xiao. Chapter 5. War Quells. Looking for flower evaluation tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao organized everyone to transform into lasers and leave the battlefield. The whole scene was silent, looking in the direction of 10 laser beams leaving. After a long time, in the extremely evil era, it seems like there will be one more person. Cap touched his head and was the first to break the silence. On the side, the Warring States period had already returned to human form, and Chen said. Hee, and still standing at the peak of our strength, it seems that we will have another headache in the future. Poor thing, I'm just an old bone. Kapu chuckled and said, Hee, I'm just a lieutenant general. Anyway, I don't care about these things. The Warring States period glared at Cap and let out a cold snort. That's why you've been unwilling to be promoted, right? Kapu ignored the Warring States period and looked at Red Dog, changing the topic and saying, all right, quickly take Red Dog for treatment. The next moment, Luffy, what are you doing? Cap immediately cursed loudly. Luffy looked up at his grandfather and smiled, save my brother. As he spoke, he took out the key and opened Ace's lock. Hee. Ace stood up and said, oh, Luffy really didn't expect you to come here. You're such a troublemaker. Kolalalala. In the distance, Big Beard also laughed. The white-bearded pirates have heard the order, and Ace has been rescued. How can we break through? Let's go back to the New World. Oh. The group of pirates shouted excitedly. Rescue Ace and boost their morale. On the other hand, the morale of the Navy was low. Although they still held guns in their hands, the fall of the general had already made them feel cowardly. The Warring States period breathed a sigh and said, Kapu, perhaps this war should be quelled. Cap touched his nose, his face noncommittal. It's best to calm it down, so I don't have to worry about my grandson and Ace getting into trouble. The sudden action of the organization interrupted the war, and then Tong spoke out with such strong words, threatening that even the Tianlong people were included in the hunting range of their organization. This has made all the big shots present disinterested in continuing the war. Everyone needs time to digest this news. Discuss how to face this emerging force. Moreover, it is feared that once the Tianlong people are informed of this news, the Navy will work tirelessly with the Xiao organization, which will intensify the pressure on the Navy. At this point, if the battle continues, the Navy's vitality will surely be severely damaged. It's really a headache. The Warring States period rubbed its head. He looked at Bai Hu and shouted sternly, Bai Hu, this time we'll let you go. This meeting will definitely wipe out the remnants of your old era. Although Whitebeard was bleeding from his chest, he still stood upright. At this point, the top of the war ended with the sudden intervention of Xiao, coupled with Tong's strong propaganda, and finally ended with the serious injury to Navy General Chiku. After rescuing Ace, the Whitebeard pirates withdrew from the Navy headquarters. Just the Whitebeard's injury has worsened once again. The power of the Whitebeard pirates will also decrease significantly. This will also have an impact on the pattern of the New World. However, the emergence of the Xiao organization also provided a sedative for this turbulent era. Before deciding how to face the Xiao organization, I'm afraid no force will take the lead in causing trouble. Everyone felt an invisible knife suddenly appear on the sky, unsure if it would fall on them. Of course, this is only temporary. Shampoo Island, is this how the war ended? Isn't this nonsense? Even Whitebeard saved Ace. Did the Navy lose? After that, wouldn't pirates be even more rampant? This is not enough. The Whitebeard pirates team cannot benefit from it either. And most importantly, the sudden emergence of the Xiao organization is afraid that the pattern of the New World will change again. Beard's body is already weak, and he is afraid that the position of the fourth emperor will be difficult to maintain. He also doesn't know if the Xiao organization will take the opportunity to infiltrate and become the fourth emperor. Isn't that none saying that they, Xiao, are a killer organization? Who knows? Hey. Do you have anyone who wants revenge? You can try it out. Having such an organization now is also a good thing. Where is there? A commission of just over 100,000 Bailey. Where does an ordinary person have so much money? The crowd was discussing one after another. In the distance, Raleigh drank and slowly got up, unsure of what he was thinking before taking a step and leaving. On this side of the supernova, a strange color appeared on their faces, making it difficult to tell whether they were happy or angry. Xiao, the organization is interesting. I really want to fight and see. Kid's face showed a hint of excitement. Captain, you just saw that it has top-notch combat capabilities that can rival the general. We had no room for resistance in front of the yellow ape before, my subordinate reminded. Kid snorted disdainfully, then thought of something with a hint of playfulness. Hey. Do you think it would be fun if I hire them to kill Red Hair? Hee hee. Kid's subordinates remained silent. If this is really the case, then a great war will break out in the New World. In a certain sea area, Blackbeard and his companions sat on a raft. At this moment, Blackbeard's face was shrouded in gloom, and the anger in his eyes erupted uncontrollably. Xiao, organizing these bastards, how dare they break my plan? Damn it! Damn it! The overwhelming anger turned into a punch and landed heavily on the raft. The next moment, everyone exclaimed in surprise, Captain, what are you doing? Wood, you broke up the raft. Blackbeard also realized later, I'll go. But it was already late, and everyone fell directly into the sea. Blackbeard, who is a demon fruit expert, quickly called for help and said, help me, help me. Fortunately, the bad wolf surfaced from the sea in time, which saved everyone. Hoo. Blackbeard gasped in embarrassment and murmured, it seems we need to build a giant ship. After he regained his composure, he said with great interest to the crowd, have you all remembered the contact information of the Xiao organization? Hee, Whitebeard did not die in this war, but he is already at the end of his rope. Xiao, the organization said they are a killer organization. Hee, then we'll hire them to kill Whitebeard and engage in a big battle. Maybe we can still profit from it. Captain, do you have that much money? The bounty for Whitebeard is as high as 5.46 billion belly, I'm afraid that the price offered by the organization will be even higher. Blackbeard heard the words and remained silent. Will you still ride on this broken raft if you have money? Will it almost fall into the sea and die? Damn it. Xiao, organizing bad guys and good things, my Blackbeard and you are at odds. Chapter 6. Naval Decisions. Seeking Flower Evaluation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Somewhere in the sea a steel splint is exposed on the azure sea surface. On the splint, Tong wore a black robe of the Xiao organization, with a white expressionless mask on his face. He stood up and looked into the distance, seemingly waiting for something. The white faceless mask is also designed to distinguish oneself from the leader of the Xiao organization. My subordinates use a black smiling face mask, while I represent nothing. Therefore, I use a smiling face mask to create a hidden behind-the-scenes boss. Of course. The most significant reason for this is that currently Tong does not have any strength, so in order to ensure his own safety, he has to do so. Although Tong works steadily, he likes to take skin with stability. If he is powerful now, he is afraid that he will personally go to the Navy headquarters to take a look at Play Naughty. In no time, countless laser beams flew from the distant horizon. This is a total of 3,000 lasers, like a meteor shower passing through the sky, adding a few more beautiful strokes to the sunset glow. Finally back. Tong looked into the distance and smiled. At the next moment, the laser had already arrived on the surface of the submarine. As soon as Yi Tong lifted his left hand, the laser beams converged into Yi Tong's wrist. On Yi Tong's arm, he had something similar to a wristwatch. This is a small world that can accommodate 3,000 people, and it is also a gift package for beginners. In this way, these 3,000 natural subordinates can be recalled and summoned at any time. This also saved Yi Tong a lot of trouble. After all, with an organization of 3,000 people, even if looking for a relatively hidden island, it is easy to be detected. Laser beams converged one after another, and the last beam, even more dazzling than all the lasers, landed in front of the pupil. But it didn't enter the small world in Yi Tong's hands. This is also a limitation of the small world, where generals and their subordinates above the level of generals cannot return to the small world. However, this is not a big deal. After all, Yi Tong is currently only a general-level subordinate. This submarine, which is also a beginner gift package, can accommodate more than 10 people. Code Zero reverted to human form and then half-knelt in front of Yi Tong. "Master, the plan you arranged has been successfully completed." Yi Tong nodded and then waved his hand to signal him to get up, praising him. "I saw through the live broadcast that you did a good job. Most people in this world probably know the existence of our organization, Xiao. Thank you for your praise, Master." Code Zero respectfully said. Yi Tong smiled and didn't say much, then turned around and left. "Let's go. Let's go back to the submarine, and our Xiao organization will officially start working from today. I'm really looking forward to it, and I don't know who the first goal will be. I hope it's a guy worth billions, so I can draw more than 10 prizes, huh?" Quickly, the submarine disappeared into the sea, as if nothing had happened here. Inside the submarine, Yi Tong summoned a lieutenant general to answer the phone, and then assigned Code Zero to be on guard for 4 weeks before returning to his room. He plans to consider Xiao's next plan for the organization. On the naval headquarters side, Marin Fando is undergoing treatment for the injured and repairing the building. In a well-preserved hall. Inside sits the highest naval combat power. During the Warring States period, a group of old and new masters gathered together, including the green pheasant, yellow ape, and injured red dog. The lobby is very immersive. After a while, the Warring States period spoke up. "I'm calling everyone here to make a post-war summary, and at the same time." After a pause, the Warring States period exhaled and said, "Everyone should also be aware of the sudden emergence of the Xiao organization." Everyone was speechless, except for the gloomy expression under the red dog hat. At this moment, he was covered in bandages all over his body, and it must be said that the general was the general. He had suffered such a serious injury and was able to move so quickly. "In this war, we originally planned to use Ace to lead out the Whitebeard pirates and annihilate them in one fell swoop, but unfortunately we failed. This result was something that I, as a marshal, did not anticipate. Lu Fei's appearance was already an accident, but this young man was also okay, mainly because I did not expect a powerful Xiao organization to emerge. Nowadays, our naval headquarters Marin is in a state of semi-collapse, and we are afraid that for a while, the Navy's vitality will be difficult to recover." Everyone is silent. At this moment, thick smoke billowed from the position of the red dog, and the table had already been burned through a large hole by his abilities. He said with a gloomy face, "This is a shame for the Navy. These pirates and that Xiao organization are really too rampant. They don't even consider our Navy. Can't you see that? That Xiao organization deliberately appeared when we were in a heated battle with the Whitebeard pirates. This was using our war as a propaganda platform." The red dog gritted its teeth and said, "How dare you treat us like clowns to play with?" Wow! The position of the red dog's arm, the table has been ignited by magma. "I think our Navy can't continue like this anymore. We should take the initiative to attack. As for the Navy headquarters, Marin will leave it to other branches to handle. I suggest relocating the Navy headquarters to New World G1. That bullshit, Xiao, organization must also be in the New World, humph. The Warring States period glanced at Red Dog, then withdrew his gaze and said calmly, Red Dog, first regain your ability. Red Dog's face was non-committal, but it extinguished the flames. The Warring States period continued. If the headquarters is set up in the New World, it may only cause resistance from the 4 emperors of the New World, which is not a small matter. At present, Lieutenant General Kapu has been dismissed, and coupled with your serious injury, even if you want to relocate the headquarters, it's not now. We'll wait until the Navy recovers. General, he asked, what is the upper opinion on the organization of Xiao? The Warring States period had a slightly unpleasant expression and said, go ahead and kill. And issue a bounty order. Inside the submarine, Tong naturally had no idea about the external perception of the Xiao organization. Even if he knew, he didn't care. At this moment, Tong was sitting on a sofa contemplating. The next step is to enhance one's strength through wealth value lottery. Nowadays, the combat power of Code Zero is at the level of a general, and there are also 9 quasi-general powers. If the hired opponent is a powerful organization, such as Beast Kai Duo, Anti, Red Hair, White Beard and other powerful forces, it may be difficult. I don't know who will be the first to hire me. Chapter 7. Bounty of 3,002 billion yuan. Seeking fresh flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, a group of seagulls were soaring in various sea areas. These seagulls also carry a package with them. After seeing a ship, these seagulls threw down a bundle of newspapers. As the most important source of intelligence in the pirate world, Tong naturally won't miss it. He is wearing the uniform of the Xiao organization and standing on a splint with Code Zero. Soon, a seagull flew over from a distance. After seeing Tong and Code Zero, the seagull took out a bundle of newspapers from the package and threw them towards Tong. Code Zero transformed into a laser and flew away. The seagull was startled at the sight and quickly flew away with its wings. Code Zero took the newspaper and opened it for a glance before returning to the clamp and handing it over to Tong. Tong nodded and took the opportunity. Code Zero is also afraid that someone will use this kind of secret calculation against Tong. Caution is always a good thing. Tong lowered his head to prepare to read the message above. But when he opened it, he found 3 wanted posters inside. Tong looked curiously. Luffy, the bounty has risen to 400 million. Luffy, I'll go see him when I have the chance. I used to see that Pirate King liked this silly guy quite a bit. And Robin and Nami, After a silly smile, Tong shook his head and stopped thinking about these things. Continuing to look down, I was momentarily stunned and then speechless. What's so special? The second one is actually my own wanted warrant. I saw that the wanted notice was painted with the iconic pattern of the Xiao organization, and there were several red auspicious clouds on the black robe, with the name written, None. Finally, the bounty amount was. Tong counted and said, number, 10 million, 10 million. The more he counted, the more gloomy his face became. Billions, billions. 2 billion Bailey. I'll go. What am I doing here? The reward amount is a bit outrageous, isn't it? It's really toxic. Just 2 billion Bailey directly. You should know that even one of the infamous disasters, Jack, is only worth 1 billion Bailey. After a while, sigh. Tong sighed and looked up at the sky. It is estimated that the organization beat the Red Dog seriously yesterday and said that even the Tianlong people can be killed, which is why they were judged to have such a high reward. And below is the reward order for members of the Xiao organization, regardless of which member, the reward amount is 1 billion. Tong took a cold breath when he saw this. 1 billion yuan per person. You know, there are 3,000 members in my organization, and with me, wouldn't the total bounty offered by the organization reach as high as 3,002 billion yuan? Yi Tong couldn't help but chuckle. Ha ha ha. Which power in this world can have a higher total reward amount than the organization, Xiao. Of course, the current situation is because the Navy is completely unaware of its own organization and other 2,990 personnel. But that's also good. Yi Tong showed a smile as he turned his head and walked towards the submarine, with Code Zero closely following behind. It seems that hiding my strength is still correct. I didn't expect to have a bounty so quickly. It seems necessary to find a way to infiltrate some people into the Navy, so that one can also have first-hand information about the Navy and facilitate the actions of the Xiao organization. By the way, I remember after the Top War, didn't the Navy hold a world call-up? Hee, isn't this the opportunity for the Xiao organization to infiltrate the Navy? However, having a background is a bit troublesome, we need to consider it again. Meanwhile, around the world, the reward orders of the organization have also fallen into the hands of many people. Hey, come and take a look. What's going on? What's going on? The reward order for the leader of the organization, Xiao, has been issued so quickly. Damn it. You can't guess how much the leader of the organization will be rewarded for the first time. It's estimated to be in the billions. After all, this organization has just emerged. With billions of you, the leader of the Xiao organization is directly a reward order of 2 billion, and their code names 0.9 are all 1 billion. Digging trenches. Is the first bounty so high? Nonsense, they can even list the Tianlong people as the target of the killer organization, and they even dealt a heavy blow to Red Dog yesterday, do you think? Too scary. A killer organization, with a total bounty of 12 billion yuan, this is truly unprecedented. If the pupils were here, they would probably sneer, 12 billion. Who do you look down on? The total reward amount offered by Laozi's Xiao organization is as high as 3,002 billion yuan. Of course, in the future, when the world truly sees all members of the organization, it will refresh our understanding. Chapter 8. Overlord and Domineering. Seeking Flower Evaluation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time flies by, and in the blink of an eye, a whole week has passed since the end of the war at the top. Yi Tong has been very depressed this week, but now he is very happy. What's frustrating is that in the past week, although there have been employees of the Xiao organization, they are all small roles, and the highest commission they receive is only 200,000 bailey. However, as Yi Tong said, little by little makes many. After a whole week, Yi Tong finally saved up 1,000 million bailey and could draw a prize once. Yi Tong, filled with excitement, began the lottery. I don't know what I'll get. Yi Tong licked his lips and said to the system in his mind, lottery. The lucky draw requires the consumption of 10,000 points of wealth. Do you want to draw? Without hesitation, Yi Tong said, yes. As soon as the words fell, a huge turntable appeared in front of Yi Tong. The turntable is densely packed with options. Yi Tong saw it for the first time and quickly glanced up. Above are Flowing Sakura Dominance, Kendo Enlightenment plus 50 years, Famous Sword. All Heavenly Sword, Reproduction of Fruit, but before Yi Tong could finish reading, the turntable began to rotate. Hey! I haven't finished reading it yet. Yi Tong was a bit depressed and muttering. But the turntable remained fixed, ignoring Yi Tong's complaints at all. At this point, the system said, please ask the host to stop, and the turntable can stop. Originally, Yi Tong wanted to predict and see if he could get stuck with a bug. With an average speed, as long as he calculated the acceleration of the wheel's reduction, he could ultimately determine the final stop position. But Yi Tong clearly overthought it. Helpless, Yi Tong could only casually say, stop. At the next moment, the speed of the turntable began to slow down. Finally, it stopped at the option of domineering and domineering. Tong wanted to take the opportunity to see what other rewards were on the turntable, but the turntable disappeared instantly. The sound of the system echoed in my mind. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Overlord color and dominance. In an instant, Tong only felt a wonderful force flowing into his body. Is this the domineering and domineering color? Tong tried to use it, but his eyes froze. Immediately, an invisible force surged out from somewhere within the body. This force condensed into a cyclone that surged towards the surroundings, spreading to the entire room, the entire submarine, and finally to the sea outside the submarine. Tong quickly ran towards the window and looked out. I saw all the creatures around me fainting. Amazing. The domineering color and aura are really good. Tong happily said that he was still very satisfied with this reward. However, the scope is a bit small. It should be noted that in One Piece, 2 years later, when Luffy faced 100,000 enemies on Mermaid Island, a domineering aura could cause 50,000 people to fall. I am not good at it yet, and my accuracy is also not good. I cannot easily intimidate anyone I want. It seems that more exercise is needed. Wait until, like red hair, the dominant color and aura can form a physical attack, then you can pick it up. Tong touched his nose and suddenly realized that as long as he focused, a menu interface could appear in front of him. Host. Leaf pupil, current possession. Overlord color and domineering aura. Subordinate. General level. 1 person major general level. 9 major level and above. 990, major level. 2000. The interface is very simple, but it is good for Tong. In this way, you can have real-time control over the strength of your subordinates. If someone's strength improves, you can also know for yourself as soon as possible. Tong touched his chin and began to think about the next plan. The Navy World Call-Up will be held a week later, during which time you need to see if you can help some people get their identities. Let 100 lieutenant generals, 10 or more lieutenant generals, and 1 quasi-admiral with the strength of Xiao members blend into the Navy. In this way, it can not only provide first-hand information, but also prepare oneself well in case the organization engages in direct combat with the Navy in the future, and catch the Navy off guard. You should know that the current Xiao includes targets of murder, including the Tianlong people, and conflicts with the Navy are inevitable. Otherwise, the bounty would not have reached the initial high. As for how to arrange the backgrounds of these people, Tong also has plans. However, it requires a large amount of funds. You should know that there are many greedy people in this world. As long as you bribe the executives in various parts of the mainland and use them to forge the family and background of the members, you don't have to worry about naval inspections. Fortunately, after the commission received by the system is converted into wealth value, and the wealth value is spent, the commission will not decrease. This also gives Tong the capital to use. But it's just that Yang hired people from the Xiao organization to kill some small characters so far. Where did they get so much funding? Thanks to Laozi's vigorous use of the top war as a propaganda platform. Sigh. Really, this has even led to me being offered a reward. Tong currently has an impulse to lead all members of Xiao to surrender, which is 3002 billion Bailey. After receiving the bounty, he will escape. At that moment, the subordinate responsible for answering the phone walked in. Report to the master. What's going on? Tong felt a bit headache because he was thinking about money, and said weakly. Someone hired us to kill a pirate named Capri, and offered a commission of 200 million belly. Tong's eyes immediately lit up. It's really dozing off. Give the pillow. Chapter 9. Handover. Looking for flower evaluation tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A 100 million Bailey employment mission came, which made Tong feel very happy. In this way, I can draw 10 times, and I don't know what I can get. At present, although Yi Tong has a domineering appearance, he is still just an ordinary person, weak in both physical and other aspects. I don't know if it's possible to draw something that can improve one's physical fitness, and the replication fruit I saw earlier feels very good. It's probably possible to replicate someone else's abilities. By the way, what if I draw one ability and then draw another ability? Will it stack up? If we say stacking, it's really something we're holding. Taking Blackbeard as an example, a character who was originally not close to the fourth emperor, after possessing two types of fruit abilities, directly defeated the Whitebeard remnants led by Marco, becoming one of the four legitimate Sea Emperors. Thinking of Blackbeard, Yi Tong thought of another point. Now, due to his intervention, Whitebeard has not died, and Blackbeard has not even received the Xinjian fruit. What will happen to Blackbeard next? Yi Tong thought about these and had already walked outside. Then he shook his head and thought about these things, which had little to do with him. Let's meet up with the employer first. Yi Tong returned to business and ordered. Yes. Xiao, the subordinate of the rank of major, responded and immediately went to pilot the submarine. Yi Tong touched his chin and said, "By the way, who is Caleb?" Although Yi Tong is a pirate fan, the characters inside the pirate cannot be remembered for a long time. However, this is not a problem. As long as you communicate with the employer, they will naturally inform the Xiao organization of the Capri information. So, Yi Tong was on his way to meet his employer. Nowadays, all major forces in the New World believe that the Xiao organization is in the New World. Actually, Yi Tong is not yet in the New World, so he quickly arrived at the junction. Yi Tong summoned Code 1 from the small world. Code 1 knelt on one knee in front of Yi Tong in the blink of an eye and respectfully said, "Master." Yi Tong nodded and then ordered, "This mission is mainly handled by Code 1, and Code 0 is secretly receiving it. By the way, bring the employment agreement and ask them to sign it now." Yes. Code 0 and 1 both responded simultaneously. When the submarine surfaced, the two of them turned into a laser and disappeared inside the submarine. Yi Tong stood quietly in the submarine, waiting for the two of them to return. The employment agreement is a system-drafted agreement, and as long as the employer signs it, the system will establish this task. Once the task is completed, the system will receive full commission. The system will automatically determine the success of this task. It would be great if the maid could use live streaming devices and simple communication devices. Yi Tong felt a bit bored and murmured to herself. Without the live broadcast and communication of the phone worm, Yi Tong could not see the specific situation of the task being carried out. But when my subordinates are carrying out tasks, they cannot always hold the phone worm, it's so troublesome. In the submarine, Yi Tong was bored and muttering to himself, while the joint location Code 0 and 1 had already arrived. However, only Code 1 appeared, and Code 0 was hidden in the dark, just in case. In front of Code 1, there stands a middle-aged man wearing a crown. Although he is middle-aged, his face is full of vicissitudes. Next to him was a minister, followed by a dozen or so soldiers. At the moment Code 1 appeared, a dozen or so soldiers behind them looked panicked, each holding their long guns tightly. The king and minister both had a nervous expression on their faces. There is no way, the emergence of the Xiao organization is too swift and intimidating to the world. And Code 1 is 2 meters tall, wearing a black robe and a black smiling face mask, which really gives people a strange feeling. They are just ordinary people. Code 1 standing makes them gasp for breath. Code 1 doesn't care about these things, and a plain voice says, "Who are you employers for this mission?" The king swallowed his saliva and forcefully suppressed the palpitations in his heart before slowly speaking, "It's me." Code 1 nodded, then took out the employment agreement from his sleeve and said leisurely, "The employer signed on this and also brought the deposit." The minister beside him whispered in the king's ear, "Your Majesty, let me go up and sign for you." You are the ruler of a country, and we must ensure your safety. Code 1 is a quasi-general level skill, so you can naturally hear their conversation and calmly say, you can only use the employer's personal signature. Everyone was stunned upon hearing this, and then the minister showed dissatisfaction. You should know that the king is of noble status, and now he is on his own side with soldiers protecting him. If he steps forward and the other party takes direct action, then he and others will not have time to protect him. It has to be said that the thinking of ordinary people is limited. Even now, as long as Code 1 wants to take action against them, the other party will all die if it's just one thought. 100 soldiers are useless, let alone a dozen soldiers. The king gave a glance to the minister, gesturing for him to remain silent. It would be bad to offend the members of Xiao in front of him. I'll sign it. After speaking, I walked towards Code 1. But the minister still wanted to obstruct. The king shouted sternly, we can only burn our bridges. The country is in danger, and if we delay for a few seconds, the people will suffer for a few seconds. The minister was speechless and could only pray that the organization would not be tempted by money and would simply take the money and leave. Code 1 presented the employment agreement to the king and demanded a deposit from him. The king breathed a sigh and handed the deposit to Code 1, pleading somewhat, I hope, Xiao, can abide by the rules. Code 1 ignored and handed the employment agreement to the king, then took the deposit from him and began checking. Code 1 has a domineering aura upon seeing and hearing, and with just a glance, it was confirmed that there was no problem with the deposit of 5,000 million Bailey. When the king signed the agreement, he said calmly, do you have a location for the mission target? Everyone breathed a sigh of relief when they saw that Zhao's organization was still following the rules. The king also breathed a sigh of relief in his heart, handed the employment agreement to Code 1, and said, in the miling bar in our country. The opposite is the natural swamp fruit, please be careful, sir. That guy is very powerful, and his brother and his subordinates are all strong. Our army has been defeated to the point of collapse. And that guy's methods are extremely brutal, sir, are you alone? Do you need me to send some soldiers to help? Halfway through, Code 1 had already turned into a laser and disappeared from everyone's sight. Everyone was stunned. Before he could react, a loud explosion sounded in the distance. So, is that all we have to do? Your Majesty, does it mean that the member of Xiao has already arrived in our country? The king was also non-committal, it's impossible. This place is more than 10 kilometers away from our country. Let's go back and take a look. Chapter 10. Request from the King. Seeking fresh flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On this side of Miling Tavern. Code 1. A laser directly blasted the entire building. He had already confirmed through his observations that this generation was completely occupied by this group of pirates. In the ruins, wet-haired Caleb transformed into a swamp and slowly emerged from the ruins. His younger brother, Crib, was also somewhat embarrassed as he pushed away the building that was pressing against him. Bastard! Caleb shouted angrily, who dares to ambush us? Are they the garbage from the king's army? It seems they haven't learned enough lessons yet. Boss! Suddenly, a younger brother pointed to the sky and said, look at the sky. The two brothers looked towards the sky. I saw Code 1 floating in the void, with a black robe fluttering and graceful. Laser fruits can be suspended in the air through projection as long as a shooting point is placed on the ground. Black robe. Black smiling face mask. Isn't this the Xiao organization that knocked down the generals at the Navy headquarters before? A group of pirates exclaimed in surprise. I'll go. How could Xiao appear here? A group of pirate boys felt a little scared when they saw this. What are you afraid of? Caleb ordered his subordinates. In that war, it was 9 people who defeated Red Dog, and it was a surprise attack that succeeded. Have you forgotten? 2 of them were also blocked by the red dog. The strength is just that. Hee hee. Caleb spat out his long tongue. I am also a fruit of natural abilities, am I still afraid of Dawn? Upon hearing this, the younger brothers couldn't help but feel that it made sense. Don't doubt that many people in the world of pirates are intelligent and moving beings. Boss, Xiao, just send one person. You and Vice Captain Crib can definitely defeat him by working together. Caleb's slender tongue licked and playfully said, I'm enough alone. Hee 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 hee. After speaking, he transformed into a swamp and quickly attacked Code 1, which was like a towering wave. Boss, you're amazing. Swallow this guy down, let's go to the Navy in exchange for a 1 billion Bailey bounty, so we can develop. Huh, maybe we don't have to wait for 2 years. As long as we defeat this guy, we can go to the new world now. Caleb chuckled and said, just watch how I swallow this guy. As long as I escort him to the Navy, maybe I can become a 7 Marshal. But before he could finish speaking, Code 1 transformed into a laser and in the blink of an eye, it pierced through Caleb's chest. Ah! Caleb spat out a mouthful of blood. Others were still shouting for the boss, but before they could react, Caleb collapsed. A silence fell. By the time everyone reacted, they had already shown signs of shock. I'll go. In seconds. Did the boss Caleb collapse like this? The disappearance of the swamp like a huge wave also indicates that Caleb has lost consciousness, or rather died. Run. Hurry up, Xiao, the organization is too strong, isn't it? Just one move, instantly kill the boss. The boss is a natural fruit expert, and he has been instantly stunned. Isn't it even more so for us? It's not a boast that the organization can defeat the general. It's really powerful. A group of pirates shouted in terror as they frantically fled. Crib stared blankly at his uncertain brother, feeling a chill in his heart. Code 1 turned around and glanced at him. Just this one glance made him fall and sit on the ground. Don't kill me, don't kill me. He kept retreating, and there was still a strong smell in the air. Code 1. Pick up Caleb's body directly. That's right, it's a corpse. Code 1 just used a single blow and instantly killed it without any mercy. Code 1 never paid attention to Kleb at all, he was only responsible for the goals in the employment agreement, and everything else was ignored. Once again, he transformed into a laser and flew away from the spot. On the other hand, the king and others are still on their way back to their own country. Before running 2 kilometers on horseback, I saw that Code 1 had already returned to my side. I saw Code 1 throwing Caleb's body directly in front of the king. At first, everyone was shocked, and then when they saw that it was Caleb's body, they were all shocked. Is that enough to kill? This hasn't left for a minute, has it? Everyone swallowed their saliva and looked at Code 1 in front of them. They looked at the black smiling face mask and felt like a devil from hell. The organization is really powerful. You should know that those who can offer a reward of over 100 million are not simple pirates, but once and for all, excluding the time on the road, the battle should only be less than a minute, right? Thinking of this, everyone swallowed their saliva again. Code 1 said in a faint voice, the employment you commissioned has been completed, and the other half of the commission will be fully supplemented next. The king regained his senses from the shock and said, of course. But we didn't expect you, sir, to be so powerful that you could quickly resolve Caleb. The other half of the commission is in the palace, so you might have to wait a while. Code 1 stepped forward upon hearing this and immediately captured the king with one hand. Sir, what are you doing? The king exclaimed in surprise. The minister and his subordinates were both surprised and immediately took out their weapons. What are you going to do to the king? Let go, let go. Although it was a harsh drink, it appeared to lack confidence. I'll take the king back directly to get the money. After speaking, I flew towards the palace with the king. Everyone looked at each other, unable to stop them, so they quickly rushed back to the palace. In the sky, in order for the king to withstand the pressure, Code 1 did not fly very fast. In the area passing by Myling Tavern, the king saw that the tavern had turned into ruins, and the group of pirates in Caleb were nowhere to be found. This scene relieved his constantly anxious heart. I couldn't help but utter a heartfelt sentence. Thank you. Our organization is just doing things with money, there's nothing to thank, Codename 1 said lightly. Hee hee. The king smiled noncommittally. Whether it's money or not, at least you helped us. We have contacted the Navy multiple times, and so far there has been no trace of a ghost. We even said we were willing to pay for the Navy's expedition expenses, but... The king didn't continue speaking, just let out a long sigh. Amidst countless thoughts, Code 1 had already taken the king back to the palace. Nowadays, the king is no longer afraid of Code 1. He smiled and said, "Sir, please wait here for a moment. I'll go get the money right away." Quickly, the king returned to Code 1 with a large bag of things. Then something unexpected happened, and the king opened the bag. Inside was filled with gold and silver jewelry, and then he knelt down. "Sir, can I exchange all of our country's assets for, Xiao, to defend our country?" exclaimed loudly a king kneels in front of Code 1.